Good day to all you out there on the interwebs. Back before the rise of independent horror, even genre films were reliant on star power, and on this one they sure got some good ones. Who doesn't love Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, John Carradine, and Vincent Price? The good folks over at Canon certainly did, as they brought them all together for them to perform in the very first film to feature all four. I am Torstein from CinemaTerror, and this is The House of the Long Shadows. Even with those impressive members of the cast, the main role here is given to Desi Arnaz Jr. He stars as a young, arrogant American author, Kenneth McGee. He has traveled over to England to meet his publisher, and while discussing the importance of literature over a few drinks, they put $20,000 each on the line for a bet that says McGee will have to complete a novel in only 24 hours. To make it more interesting, it is arranged so that McGee will travel to an isolated old mansion in Wales to both be alone to do his work, but also to gain inspiration. There's plenty of inspiration to be found in the dark old place, but alone he is certainly not. First he is interrupted by an old couple who say they are the caretakers of the place, then the secretary of his publisher shows up, and it just doesn't stop there. Before he knows it, the mansion is overrun by kooky elderly people, each bringing a more outrageous story than the next. Lies and deceit fly high, but things take an even worse turn as they soon start to get murdered off one by one.
I have returned.
House of the Long Shadows is an homage and tribute both to the classic gothic horror films of the past, but also its stars. Say what you will about Golem and Globus from Canon Films, but have to admire them for putting up the money for this. This came out during the slasher boom, and you would have had to be a madman if you thought such a dialogue-heavy blast from the past would be able to do much business. So again, props to Golem and Globus for making this happen. It was great to see such an amazing cast together, and also see them each get the time to show off their talents. That also means that the movie is heavily reliant on dialogue, so even if this is an 80s movie, you will have to have a taste for all the horror films if you are going to enjoy this very much. I do, so I enjoyed every word that came out of these beloved actors, even though I figured I knew where the story was going, although it does have its twists and turns along the way to get there. Vincent Price, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing all look like they're having fun, and it is so much fun to see them trade off lines with each other. It was fun to see John Carradine as well, even though it looked like he was nearly asleep in some of the scenes. The plot for House of the Long Shadows is based on the novel 7 Keys to Baldplate by Earl Dare Biggers from all the way back in 1913, a story that has seen several adaptations, most produced before the Second World War. Instead of modernizing it too much, they instead inject the film with some comedy, some that work and some that don't. The film has little else to offer when it comes to the horror parts though, but that's not really what it is going for either. House of the Long Shadows is first and foremost a light-hearted, charming, and comfortable experience, and you will have to wait nearly an hour before anything horrific takes place. This ended up being the final film for the British filmmaker Pete Walker, who had gained a cult following after delivering a few small shockers during the 70s, like House of Whipcord and Frightmare. I must admit that House of the Long Shadows is the first film of his that I've seen, so as always, if any of you out there feel like I need to see any of his other stuff, and perhaps do a video review of it, then make sure you let me know.
We came here this evening to unlock the final door to our destiny. A destiny that was unleashed over 40 years ago. Whatever it may demand of us, retribution, suffering, or even death, we must accept its judgment.
House of the Long Shadows is a love letter to its own cast, which is a bit unique and cool. It is geared towards fans of these great icons, and them only, so have that in mind if you decide to give this a go. It's not a thrilling experience, but it is a great film to put on an evening where you just want something comfortable to rest your eyes on. House of the Long Shadows gets a nice score of 3 out of 5. Who else out there has seen House of the Long Shadows, and what were your thoughts on this? And if you had to choose, which of these horror legends would you have picked as your favorite, and how would you have ranked them? That's a question I can't come up with an answer on myself. If you want me to explore more of their careers, then let your suggestions flow in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's plenty more on my channel if you're new around here, and hope to see you again in the future for more videos on the strange, obscure and insane, here on CinemaTerror.